Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 203 of the Terminal City FC podcast, part of the Area 51 Sports Network, talking all things soccer. Josh Gray joined alongside Nathan Durek as per usual. And as per usual, we will start with the Vancouver Whitecaps. Another day, another win, and a lot of goals as the Whitecaps defeated the San Jose Earthquakes 4-1 on Sunday afternoon. A very Sunday afternoon matinee type of game, a lazy Sunday, as you called it the other day. But overall, it was an efficient and dominant performance from the Whitecaps.
It felt like a lazy Sunday game in that first 45. Yes, they opened up, and I think a lot of the reason why the game opened up was because of how desperate San Jose had to be in that second half. They're facing elimination from the playoffs. I think on Sunday, they were about 2 points out of that ninth spot that RSL was holding. They needed the win. They needed the win to have any hope of staying within a playoff hunt. Yes, mathematically, they're still in it, but I don't think it's going to happen for them this year. They're going to have to take solace on the fact that they improved, but they still just didn't make the cut.
Yeah, and San Jose is not mathematically eliminated. Let's get that out of the way, but with the loss in Vancouver, their chances of making play and round have significantly dipped. But the Whitecaps from the get-go pretty much controlled the play, dominated possession, though some of the passes were very sloppy. Yeah. But the Whitecaps slowly got into the game, started to get more efficient, started to use their shape and be more tactically refined. And set pieces for the Whitecaps have been a strength in the past few weeks, and it showed once again. Sebastian Berhalter's delivery on the free kick, far post. Ryan Alumi for his second career goal, second of the season, just taps it in.
You know, it's interesting how much talk there has been about set pieces ever since the European seasons have started up this year, and how important set pieces are to how teams set up, how teams play, how much more emphasis teams are placing on set pieces. It's something the Whitecaps have been doing we can go back even before the Jesper Sorensen era and look at how important set pieces were. And I think we can even go back to, I remember it was one year, it was still back in like the Kendall Waston days and all that, where the Whitecaps went an entire season without a goal from a corner. Yeah. And since that one season, I can't remember which season it was, somewhere in the mid 2000 teens, they have completely changed their philosophy on it. And just take a look at how many came off set pieces when you have people that can deliver, like Sebastian Berhalter, like Ali Ahmed, who steps in for the Whitecaps and is the guy who does it for Canada. Ryan Gauld, who can deliver off his left foot. There are a number of players that can come in and do it. Look at all the players now, especially with the Whitecaps and long throws. It's a really, really important part of the game, and I think the Whitecaps are taking advantage of it to full effect.
Yeah, long throws. I think they're a very important part of the game, and the Whitecaps in recent years have been using that. Rory Delap's influence of the long throw has pretty much stretched, in the Premier League right now, that's kind of made a comeback, and it's stretched worldwide. But for the Whitecaps, just a very, very perfectly timed set piece from Berhalter, and Alumi knew where he had to be, and he was at the right place at the right time. And that's, I think, what makes him so highly regarded in the Whitecaps system, is not only for his skill, but his IQ.
Do you know what that
he has
goal
a soccer IQ beyond his ears.
That goal that Ryan Alumi scored reminded me of Sebastian Berhalter. Simon Betcher. Simon Betcher, of how he would attack far posts and kind of ghost in behind, attack or defenders who wouldn't even realize that he was there. It was very much like that. He was able to kind of break out of that line. There really wasn't anyone around him, which is kind of funny. Yes, the ball got a little bit lucky in that fact that it got to him. It had to get through one or two defenders on the way. But when you're in the right positions, so long as you're there, you can make things happen.
Yeah, and the first half, it was pretty much one-way traffic for the Whitecaps, and up 1-0. And then second half, things started to open up more. This play, this is a great team goal Yohei Takaoka starts it with his distribution to Sebastian Berhalter in the midfield, and the Whitecaps go back the other way. And all that space in the midfield for Sebastian Berhalter to run and create. And then Thomas Muller at the edge of the box, the Raumdeuter, the exploiter space, was given all the space in the world to shoot, and he made no mistake with the shot.
It was an excellent transition. It was very quick. You're right. Only four players touched the ball, so it wasn't like one of these long balls that we keep seeing happening all these days. Like the whole the play of yesteryear or lower league or non-league. But it was quick. It took advantage of the Whitecaps and their pace, especially players like Berhalter. And then when the ball switched over to the left to Ali Ahmed, because I believe he was the guy that cut it back from Muller at the end. Right? Yep. Yeah. And how many acres of space did Thomas Muller have on that goal? I mean, he had time to basically line it up, check wind resistance, have a snack before he shot, and there was no one around him.
Yeah, a perfectly placed shot past Danielle. And Sebastian Berhalter was everywhere in this game. One of the best games you'll ever see him play as a Whitecap. And then, 74th minute, he takes the small pass from Jeevan Badwal and decides, you know what? I'll have a go. And then he scores one of the goals of the season in MLS and a contender for a goal of the season for the Whitecaps.
It was blast that thing into the right corner of the week on MLS After Dark or whatever their Sunday show is. So yeah, it was a phenomenal one.
Yeah, I don't know how many yards that was, but I think it would be a good 25, 30 at least.
I gotta say 25. Yeah, it felt like it.
Yeah, and even they were up 3-0. We've seen this from the Whitecaps a lot this season, where they just continue to keep going and wanting more and keep their controlled possession-based game. Like in the past, even though the Whitecaps would have the lead, you'd be nervous they'd blow it because they get too complacent. It's a shame that the clean sheet was disrupted. Bo LaRue takes the shot. It goes off Giuseppe Bovalina and past Yohei Takaoka. And you can tell.
We were just talking about set pieces. This was second phase of a corner.
Yep. And Takaoka was not happy about losing the clean sheet. He was angry.
Yeah. The thing is he had body position on the shot. The shot was from quite a ways out, a good 20 yards. But there was a lot of traffic. Players trying to get out of the way. It went off Bovalina's back. I feel for the guy. There's not a lot.
Nothing he can really do about that.
He can't react that fast. And, it just went up and over Takaoka.
Yeah, so. Sebastian Berhalter spoke after the game that there was one thing that they weren't happy with was losing the clean sheet, which totally understandable, but nothing you can really do about a goal that goes off a body and past the goalkeeper because there's no way Takaoka has. You need superhuman reflexes to stop that type of shot. But Berhalter decided to score another banger just a few minutes later. He said, hey, why not do it again?
Exactly,
blast it into the corner again.
You know what? Another great setup. This time, Thomas Muller sets him up. We didn't have any of the fast pacey movement, but it was just good ball movement. And you know what? For as suspect as the passing was in the first half, the second half, I think that's what really cleaned up. We were counting at some points passing sequences of over 20 in this team in the second half. They really cleaned it up. The domination of possession that they had in the first half, it actually became something in the second half. They were no longer just holding the ball. They were doing something with it. And I think that's what we saw with the three goals that happened, that opened up. Yes, San Jose kind of helped the Whitecaps in the fact that they had to open up and it allowed spaces in behind and in between. But you can't discredit the Whitecaps in this game. It was just a thoroughly professional performance.
Yeah, against a team that they should beat, and they did. They beat soundly. And yeah, that first half, that was still a very good half, despite all those misplaced passes. It was just trying to execute things better, because especially in the final third in that first half, there were so many poor passes and poor touches. But it's impressive. It's refreshing to see that they got better as the game went on. And we should also mention, Ralph Priso again at center back. They
Yes,
decided to give Bilal Halbouni a rest. And
which is good. It doesn't matter who you are. Every player needs that.
early in the game, Joseph Martinez on the corner header, Ralph Priso was right at the goal line and cleared it. He did that against Seattle, did it against San Jose, yeah, and his
I
defensive
think
ability for sure.
because of all the goals in this game and because of the attractive play that we saw in the second half, we forget how early in this game it could have gone in a completely different direction. If that goal had been scored, would the Whitecaps have come back? Would they have been able to be as dominant as they were, having to chase that early? It was a very, very important moment in the game that I think kind of gets glossed over.
Yeah, and we were talking with the San Jose comms guy. I think his name was Brian before the game. He said San Jose falls apart if they give up a goal early. And that's pretty much, well, it wasn't super early, but San Jose just didn't really
It was
have...
the first goal. That was, that's what it was. They
And
were hoping to be able to hold the score 0-0 for the first half hour, which they did. To their credit, they did. But yeah, there was moments in there that it was shaky.
I don't know what the exact record is, but the Whitecaps, when they score first, they win more often than not. I'm pretty sure they might have lost one or two games this season.
I want to say they've
first,
lost
but
one. That's it.
yeah.
It's been very, very good. One thing is with San Jose is they had only, from that one game back in August, which was the last game that the Whitecaps had lost, which was in San Jose, and then they went on the undefeated streak. That game had been the last game San Jose had won until the week before their meetup again this past weekend.
Oh, they also beat Houston, though, I think a couple weeks after.
Oh, had they? Okay, I'm sorry.
I got that wrong last week, too. So
the other thing is we talked about the incremental improvements of San Jose. One thing that they have done this year that is better than previous years that they hadn't done in a while is road wins. They have 6 road wins on the year, I believe, and that's something they haven't done in many, many, many seasons. I think where you're seeing San Jose right now, yes, they're still, below the top 10 in the West, but they're not the basement anymore. They're not the quintessential golden spoon recipient, or golden spoon, wooden spoon.
Wooden spoon.
Watch them next year. Next year, because they've got a coach that now is going to be sticking around. He's, they're not doing the carousel of coaches, and he's only had a year to build this team. We've seen
the coach and sporting director.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a team that is going to be fighting for at least a top 8 next year.
They're a team that invested a lot in their attack, like Espinoza, Martinez, Arango, but just need to invest in some defense.
Well, that's the biggest problem. I mean, you take a look in the Western Conference. The only 2 teams that have shipped more goals in behind them are LA Galaxy and Sporting KC, who are at the bottom 2.
Yeah, but for the Whitecaps, just a lot to like about that performance. And Thomas Muller has pretty much 10 goals in 10 goal contributions rather in his last 5 appearances. That goes back to when he scored his first goal against St. Louis. Could have been 11 if that goal against Houston
counted. Yeah, which should have.
He's come as advertised.
Yeah, absolutely.
And having Ryan Gauld back too makes.
I was going to say, yeah,
just as exciting to watch. We saw those 2 play together for the first time. Gauld had a chance to score a goal on his own, but he missed it wide, and he had another one that Danielle just scooped up there before he could get a good shot off.
You could see players are really trying to find him inside the 18-yard box to give him that goal. I mean, it's going to come for Ryan. It's going to come. He already had one coming back in the Canadian Championship final. It's just nice to see him back and running. And there was a great moment where I can't remember who had the ball, but someone on San Jose had the ball running down the left, had wide open space, and it was Gauld who came back, chased him down, and was able to dispossess him, take the ball away. And you just took a look at the speed of his pace, and you're thinking, okay, that knee looks fine right now.
That's what the Whitecaps have missed, that work ethic. A very underrated part of Gall's game is how he tracks back.
Yeah.
And those who watched the Whitecaps since he arrived know all about it. And maybe those who aren't familiar, that's what also makes Ryan Gall special. And that's why Vanni Sartini called him the working class DP.
Yeah. The goal that he got in his first game back was great, but it was that tracking back motion, that movement, seeing that's for me is the most telling of where he is right now.
Yeah, he's healthy, the knee looks good, and he couldn't have come back at a better time because the playoffs are a few weeks away. And
it almost feels like it's the NHL. You get your star back right before the playoffs. Ooh, how does that happen?
Yeah, it's you get to save some money on the cap and add at the deadline. And maybe Ryan Goldwolf is on LTIR. Let the jokes commence. But
exactly right.
Hey, the Whitecaps did add players at the deadline. They added, a world-class player, a World Cup winner. That German guy's pretty good, huh?
Speaking of injuries and coming back, we've been hearing Jurek Pupe right now is listed as day-to-day. So he
was questionable before the San Jose game.
He was questionable with the now that they're not playing midweek games. The hope is that he could be back for this weekend. So that would be another center back finally back and up and running, and one that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, there's a joke going around I saw that does he even exist?
I've seen him. I have introduced myself, so yes, he is around.
Yeah, he does exist, people. It's the same with Sebastian Schonlaw, but fortunately he is still some time away because
Schonlaw's going to be a little bit more. His was Achilles,
which he sustained when he was playing for the Twos.
Yeah, not near as bad as obviously Atakube, but they want to make sure that he is 100% healthy and ready to go because he's got a few more years under his belt, right? We don't heal as fast.
Yeah, and Pupe, according to Michael McCullough, if Andy Sharpen looks good to go, I would not be surprised if he, even starts on the weekend. But I don't think
he's on the bench.
Yeah, keep him on the bench and see how.
We'll see.
And Michael also said Blackman is running laps, moving well. Brace is on the right knee. Yeah. Encouraging.
Still hoping
Brian White is doing bike work in the gym.
Yeah.
Also encouraging. We expect those two to be back in time for the playoffs. So Orlando City is next. This game was supposed to happen in August, but thanks to Orlando City qualifying for the semifinals of Leagues Cup, this game happens this Saturday. They sit 7th in the Eastern Conference, 14-11-7, have a goal differential of 15, I believe. Yep, and 60 goals for, 45 against, 53 points. Just 3 points behind 4th place.
Again, another big game. Not only are you looking at the distance, Orlando City wants to make sure they don't fall into those play-in spots.
They are fighting to avoid the play-in.
Yeah, you got Chicago and Columbus right behind them, who are
the East. Chicago, I didn't realize how tight the East was.
As well as they're doing, but Columbus, I did not expect to see them that far down.
Yeah, and I'm just looking. Orlando and the Vancouver Whitecaps have met before.
In another lifetime.
They like years ago because I remember Davies scoring against them or having a masterclass against them. I'm just taking a look here. When's the last
time they met was April 20th, 2019. It was a 1-0 win for Orlando in Orlando. And then before that was the year before, 2018, a 5-2 win for the Whitecaps at BC Place.
And I believe that was a Davies masterclass. So they've met 5 times, actually.
Yeah, actually, in that 5-2 win, you had, Kai Kamara back in the day, 2 goals. Davies, Jordi Reyna, and Vancouver FC's own Nicholas Mosquito.
Yeah, what a throwback. And the world has changed.
And you had with Orlando City was Dom Dwyer.
Yeah.
And Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah. Oh, Gladys. A lot has changed. But Orlando, like over the years, have been a consistent playoff team. Over the years, they've been a very, attack-minded team. But this weekend, there's going to be missing players for both sides due to the international break. Orlando apparently is having 7 international players called up. Wow. I'm going to bring it up here because they too are missing key players.
I'm guessing it's got to be with some of their internationals.
Yeah, they have 7 internationals. I don't know about their injuries yet because we haven't seen the status report. So yeah, Marko Pasalic, the Croatian midfielder, he's a key guy.
Yeah.
Freeman, Brecalo, like most of these guys are key
Spicer,
for them.
Formerly of Toronto.
Yeah, Spicer, I think he's a depth guy. So Orlando's going to be shorthanded, and again, there's possible that they have some injuries as well. But for the Whitecaps, Ahmed and Nelson obviously for Canada. No surprise, Gubis gets called up for Paraguay.
Yeah.
Kenji Cabrera called up for Peru, and Ryan Alumi for the Tunisian under-23s. Hey, at least the Whitecaps don't have to worry about Thomas Muller getting called up for Germany because he has retired.
Yes.
So that's good.
Let someone else have a chance, right? Yeah. One thing we should mention about the Whitecaps is in the Western Conference race for first, this puts them tied on points with San Diego FC. San Diego is still in first by way of the number of wins. They have 18. Whitecaps have 17. Whitecaps have a game in hand. And that's the one that's going to be taking place this weekend because, obviously it should have been back in August. Once that is done and no more games in hand, it'll be up to points.
If the Whitecaps get a win on the weekend in Orlando, they pretty much control their own destiny to win the Western Conference because all they would have to do is draw on decision day against Dallas if they win in Orlando. But even getting a draw in Orlando would be big.
I believe this hasn't been done since I want to say that they did finish first in the Western Conference at one point, didn't they?
The Whitecaps nearly did in 2017.
2017, yes.
But they bottled it the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, I think that might have been it.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look here. Yeah, I think they lost or drew the final 2 or 3 games, and Portland and Seattle overtook them.
Yeah, they were in third place, 1 point behind Portland and Seattle, who finished ahead of them. And I want to say also in 2015. In 2015, they finished second in the West, but significantly 7 points behind FC Dallas.
Yeah, that was a good FC Dallas team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to Orlando, I'm just taking a look at their last few games. It's a couple of 1-1 draws against the Ohio teams. 1-1 draw in Cincinnati, 1-1 draw against Columbus Crew. Last win came on September 20th against Nashville. It's a team that's been drawn quite a bit recently. You can call them artists, given how much they have been drawn, but overall have been a decent team this season. It started off pretty well, but again, I did not realize how tight the East table was. So it's a dogfight for.
The table has been very, very tight. You know what? Both sides have been dogfights. Even you take a look at the West, and yes, there is a big line between the top 4 and everyone else below, but you get rid of those top 4, and your next playoff spots, everything 5th to 9th, is pretty tight as well. So, like I said, we talked about it. It wasn't just the Supporters Shield that was such a fun race to watch this year. It's been both conferences. I think this has been one of the better MLS seasons in terms of just pure entertainment that I think we've been able to see in a long time.
Yeah, and
since the COVID camps, for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Yeah, but it's going to be tough. Whitecaps away in an Eastern time zone, 6-hour flight. So we'll see how the Whitecaps do. given both teams are going to be shorthanded, and hope for a win, a draw. We take, but I'm confident that the Whitecaps will do their best. They will try to set the tone early against Orlando, and hope with Jodrick Poupe
is able to
hopefully
make
back in the lineup.
Yeah,
provide some stability on the back end. And Sebastian Berhalter was not called up for the U.S. men's national team, so that's a bonus. He's still around.
Yep.
And of course, Thomas Muller in the 10 always, gives Whitecaps fans hope. Like, yes, we can do this. So, 4:30 Saturday our time in the Pacific. Whitecaps against Orlando, which should be a very interesting matchup. So, for us media, we get to pick to vote on the Caps Player of the Year and the Under 23 Player of the Year. So, I send in my vote. You send in your vote.
Yep.
We both agreed on that Sebastian Berhalter should be the Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty easy pick. Obviously, there's been a lot of good players this year. A lot of players have really stepped up, have really improved underneath Jesper Sorensen. I think Sebastian Berhalter has been the most consistent. I think he was the guy that really stepped up in the midfield when all of a sudden Ryan Gauld was gone, when all of a sudden Pedro Vite was gone. He is still that guy that he has a little bit of that Swiss Army knife. He was playing as a true 6. As Thomas Muller comes in, as an 8 before. Now he's dropped back. He kind of floats in between a 6 and an 8, right? He's a guy that doesn't complain. He is a guy that is ready for wherever you need him, whatever capacity that is. I mean, if Takioka got injured, he'd throw in the goalkeeper shirt if he was asked.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he's now getting called up for the American men's national team, and he's making a difference there. You got to think right now, he has a very real shot at getting into this World Cup lineup. I don't think it's a guarantee yet. There's still a lot of competition for those spots in the midfield on the American team, but I think he's got a very good shot.
He's got a very good shot for the MLS best starting 11 of this season. And he's just been so consistent, proven time and time again with his deliveries. He can score bangers, solid defensively. He's just been an all-around Swiss Army knife for the Whitecaps. So, Caps Player of the Year. Under 23, there's also plenty of options to choose from.
Do we want to go over our whole lists or just the tops?
Well, yeah, sure, the whole list.
Yeah.
Why not? I selected Eddie Ocampo for under 23, though there's a strong argument for Tate Johnson.
I went with Ocampo as well. Again, I think he has improved dramatically. I think I was going to say he's become a bit more of a mature player. That might be a bit of a stretch. We still see some of those antics that really just burn me. But again, I think that he has really, really stepped up as a fullback, especially when the Whitecaps were in pretty dire need of fullbacks.
Yeah, like maturity there. Sure, he's had his defensive lapses, but you can tell that's improved too. The way he can run down the flank and cross the ball in. Ella Johnson, there's no one expected for him to play this many minutes, but with Sam Kube's injuries, he was thrown into the fire, and he has done very well for the most part.
And I have Johnson as number 2 as well.
Yeah, and he can play the overlap with whoever's on the left side. He knows how to cross the ball in, and just defensively, he's every day maturing. Like both fullbacks, those young fullbacks, have stepped up massively this season. There's no right or wrong answer for
maybe I'm giving Ocampo a bit of a boost because of how much improvement we've been able to see from last year to this year, which is something we simply can't do with Tate Johnson, being that this is his first year.
Last year was a write-off on Ocampo anyway, and he didn't really play as much.
Yeah.
But I think he progressed a lot more than many expected.
Yeah, I agree. Number 3, I have Jivan Badwal, I think you were the same.
Yeah, I think we had the same list for under 23.
Yeah. Badwal, again, I think has taken the opportunity that has been given to him and has stepped up and looked quite mature in that midfield. Again, he's U23, he's learning, but I have been impressed and I haven't been worried when he's come on. And I think for as young as he is, to be able to get, a few starts under his belt has done wonders for him.
Yeah, and he's been, I think as the season went on, he's improved.
Yep.
Especially with his ball control too. It just looks better when he has the ball nowadays compared to
he's
the
very
spring.
Calm on the ball.
He used to be very erratic with the ball, but not anymore.
Yeah.
And which is very good to see, and also very, aware, tactically intelligent, defensively.
Going back to player of the year, going down our list, Sebastian Berhalter, obviously we both had number 1. Number 2, I had Ali Ahmed.
Which is also understandable given how much of a role he has played this season, but I had Brian White.
Fair enough. I had Ahmed because this is his best season in terms of goal creations that he's had with the Whitecaps. He is constantly a threat on the left-hand side. Obviously, I like him better playing on the left than I do on the right. But with Ryan Gauld out for the majority of this season, he has been one of the most important players on this team sheet when you're looking at attacking creative figures. And that's something that the Whitecaps, once you had Ryan Gauld gone in terms of creative playmakers, was, well, who do you look for next? It's Ali Ahmed.
Charles Brian White.
Yes, they have now added, obviously one other piece that we can talk about, but the consistent guy that has been here throughout the entire season has been Ali Ahmed. I think not only has he come back since his injury with in the Gold Cup, has he come back even better, but he was good even before that Gold Cup.
Yeah, and no real argument there. I chose Brian White because consistent goal scorers, has the most goals of his career. Battled through injuries, but when he comes back, score goals. Obviously, would have made a stronger case for number 1 if he played the whole season fully healthy and avoided the international call-ups. But again, he's proved he is this team's talisman. He is one of the best strikers in MLS, and he is the guy that you give the ball to in the box. So,
and I love watching him when it's off the ball because how he engages in the press. I don't know if there's another striker that works as hard off the ball than him.
Yeah, his link-up play, his pressing play is a dream for Jesper Sorensen, and it's just shame that he re-aggravated his hamstring injury, but they need him healthy for the playoffs, and a healthy Brian White is, is deadly. And number 3, I'm just trying to take a look who I had.
I had Tristan Blackman.
Yeah, I had him too.
This is a Defender of the Year season for Blackman. Again, another guy that also late on in his career has been given an American call-up to the men's national team. That didn't go as well, but when it came to the Whitecaps, this has been the consistent figure in that back four where everyone else has changed. He has played with how many different defensive partners in that center back pairing this year? Veselinovic he's played with. He's played with Priso as of late. Halbuni, Udvik when he was here. He has played with 4 or 5 different guys. Laborda also he is as well. And he has done it without complaint. And you take a look at just the defensive stats for the Whitecaps this year. Second least number of shots that they have faced. One of the best goal differences. One of the best for defensive teams this year. Well, who's the consistent in that? It's Takioka and it's Tristan Blackman. And I picked Tristan Blackman simply because they faced far fewer shots. So there's been less work for Takioka to do.
Yeah, Tristan Blackman has consistently been an excellent defender. Good with the ball, good without the ball.
And he stepped up with a pretty important goal in Mexico.
Yeah, one of
the last gasp.
Yeah, and one of the most important goals in the history of the Vancouver Whitecaps. And just overall, like he's been a solid defender, contender for the best starting 11 too, defender of the year candidate. It's a shame that his knee injury has kept him out for the rest of the regular season. But
Yep.
again, the hope is back in time for the playoffs.
Absolutely.
So that's the Whitecaps, but the other Vancouver team played last night. The Vancouver Rise won 2-0 in Ottawa against the Rapid. Jessica DeFilippo and Latifa Abdu scored. And in the back line, Morgan McCaslin, they did their job. And even Samantha Chang made a great goal line clearance.
Yeah, this was the first 10 minutes of this game was a little bit scary. There was a lot of chances from Ottawa really pushing, but against the direction of play, Abdus jumps up to get that first goal, and I think that kind of opened up the game a little bit because now Ottawa was suddenly chasing it home. And again, we're talking about set pieces. That header, DeFilippo off the corner, rises above
that's
everyone.
that's her strength.
Yeah.
Like she's very good at making yourself big in the box for headers. I mean, Abdu almost made it 3-0, but it was just wide. But it was a very comfortable and efficient win by the Rise in Ottawa, and good bounce back from some recent struggles as well.
Yeah, the one thing that's really interesting when you look at this NWSL table right now is there is a 3-way tie for second place. So when you're taking a look at who's going to have, there's not really a home advantage when you're looking at the first round or the semifinals of NSL, because the first round is a home and an away, and then you go, the final can be played, at BMO Field. But in terms of bragging rights, that inaugural season, who finishes the highest in the table, Vancouver Rise have a chance to get out of that fourth spot and move up, especially when you think of they have a game in hand against Ottawa. They still have to worry about Montreal, but there is a chance for them to at least get out of the bottom half of the table, which would be visually nice.
Yeah, they play Montreal on Saturday at 9 our time.
It's a big game. It should be treated as a big game.
Oh, it is 100% a big game.
Yeah.
And, Ottawa, Rise got some revenge for Ottawa beating them 3-0 at Swangard.
Yeah.
Because Ottawa is a very good attacking team, but the Rise they kept them quiet.
Well, Ottawa by far and away have the player who's going to be winning the Golden Boot.
Yeah, right? Pridham.
18 goals already. Kaylee Hunter is starting to make a bit of a case for herself. She's definitely jumped up on the numbers. She's only 4 behind, but you have to say right from the very beginning of the season, it's been Pridham's. I think the other big reason why the Rise are going to want to jump out of that table is because in the first round, you don't want to face Toronto.
No.
And right now, if you were to draw those playoff matchups today, that's who they'd be facing.
100%.
So,
just try to finish as high as possible. If you can avoid Toronto, and use that to boost a potential playoff run. And it's a very efficient win for the Whitecaps, just like not the Whitecaps, just like the Whitecaps over the weekend. Rise last night, very efficient.
Yeah.
So, moving on. Canadian men's national team are in action this week. Friendlies against Australia, which is in Montreal, which just announced a few hours ago has been sold out at Stade Saputo. And they will also face Colombia in Sports Illustrated Stadium in New Jersey, which is New York Red Bulls' home. Some breaking-ish news out of the Canadian camp. Toronto FC's Luca Gavrin has been called up to replace James Pantemis. I believe Pantemis, it doesn't say if it's injury related or not, but I assume so.
I would assume, but I also wonder how much Portland might have been leaning on the men's national setup just for the fact that both of their goalkeepers were called up to the program. And, you're heading into the tail end of the season, a couple of games left, playoffs right after that. I don't know. If you want to do any training, you got to have someone that's going to at least stand in between the sticks.
Yeah, but some bad news for Canada. Moise Bombito over the weekend while playing for Nice. Horrible injury, had to be stretchered off. Turns out it's a tibia fracture, which is very similar to the injury Tejan Buchanan suffered during the Copa America. And given the information about that, it looks like Bombito will be out for months.
4 to 5 months, I think, is what I saw. Again,
Yeah,
it's
until the spring is from what I saw.
Yeah, it's going to depend on how bad the break is, and just all the best in recovery.
Yeah, but Canada can't cry about it because these are important friendlies to prepare for the World Cup, and Canada has options at the back line. Kamal Miller of Portland has been called up, and yeah, remember he scored that banger goal against the Whitecaps. We joked that hey, that's enough to convince Jesse Marsh to call him up, and he's been called up, although under unfortunate circumstances.
He's always a guy that's been on the fringe of the setup. I think he is the first guy that you take a look at when you need someone else on the defensive line, especially as a center back. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Of course, there's Luke DeFugero, who has done well for a young guy in the Canadian setup. Derek Cornelius has the last window was excellent. Hopefully, can continue that form. And just there's options, and Canada has the best depth that they've had in years. And also, we should mention Liam Miller is back in the fold after his injury, 11 months away, and he's battled depression apparently, but he's back and he's ready to prove himself, which is nice.
He was
good for the Canada's attack too.
Long time. So yeah, I'm very happy to see him back. I think he brings something very different on that left-hand side. It's going to be also competition with Ali Ahmed and Jaden Nelson up there,
again,
which I've got no problem with.
Marsh talked about that he loves the fact that there's competition, and he did an interview and he said, other national team managers don't like the fact that they don't have any nines, but Canada has a ton of them, like 10 of them.
I mean, I grew up in the era of watching Canada where half the team was from unattached FC, right?
Yeah.
Players getting called up for your national team who did not have a domestic club. So to see where they are now, like I said, I remember when they're 26th in the world right now. I remember when they were like 122nd.
Oh yeah.
So I've got no problem. I hope competition keeps going. I hope the program keeps growing, and that you get more and more young players looking at this setup and thinking Canada's where I want to play for.
Yeah. You got competition to play alongside Jonathan David. There's Taniolo O'Shea, who's just made his move to Villarreal. Kyle Larin has a chance to. No, I think this is one of his last chances to prove he still belongs with the Canadian setup, and Promise David.
I think when you take a look at that 9 position, you know what? Not yet, but I think Larin has got to be watching behind him. I think
he already
maybe
is.
Not Oluwaseyi, but Promise David is someone I could see leapfrogging him in terms of the depth chart right now.
You could argue that Promise already kind of has.
That this window might decide it, and then also the play up and until Christmas.
Yeah. There's also another window in November.
It's close. I think the only thing saving Larin right now is his goal record for Canada.
Yeah, and Australia, I believe they've already qualified. But yeah, they already have qualified for the World Cup. They finished second in their World Cup qualifier group behind Japan. And they beat New Zealand in their last game, 3-1. Yeah, it was 2 games against New Zealand.
That would have been the Friendlies, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and the World Cup qualifiers, they beat Saudi Arabia and Japan.
That's good. Yeah.
So Australia is a better team than people realize. I'm just trying to look where they are ranked.
They're up there as well.
They're up there, yeah.
I want to say they're close to where Canada is.
I believe that is true. I'm looking at the FIFA rankings right now. Canada obviously in 26th. Oh, they're right ahead, 25th.
There you go. Yep.
So this is a big test for Canada. They're at home, and the Socceroos, as they're called, they've over the years they've been a stingy team. They gave Argentina trouble at the World Cup in 2022. When you think Australia, you don't really think soccer or football. You think of Aussie roots football, but soccer has done well in Australia. The A-League is followed, and Australia has several decent players like Matthew Ryan, the goalkeeper, Mohamed Toure, striker, Max Ballard, the midfielder. So, and they've consistently qualified for World Cups. And yeah, it's a reason. As a result, they've moved to the AFC Confederation.
Yeah, which they moved quite a ways. I mean, you can't keep playing what was it, American Samoa and 33-0 win.
Yeah, and Australia's done well in the AFC Confederation.
Yeah.
I mean, finishing second in their World Cup qualifying group is very impressive, and especially against someone like Japan.
Well, that was always Canada's issue as well. Is if you're going to be competing on these global tournaments, you need to play higher level opposition in your own backyard. So for Australia to be able to move to where they did, it just made sense. Canada, I mean, you can't keep playing the same few.
You can't keep playing Suriname,
and Trinidad, Tobago. Right? You need to move on. You can only play, I don't know, St. Lucia so many times before you realize you kind of need to look for competition elsewhere.
Yeah, and then Canada also plays 13th ranked Colombia this window. Yeah. Very good team. They were the finalists at the Copa America last year, and third in the World Cup qualifying. Crushed Venezuela 6-3 in the last window, and crushed Bolivia 3-0. So they're a team you obviously cannot take lightly. Obviously has Luis Diaz of Bayern Munich, Jon Duran, who I still cannot believe plays in the Saudi Pro League.
So that game tomorrow is going to be at 4:30 p.m. That'll be Canada-Australia. Next one Tuesday, 5 p.m.
Yeah, Colombia. I'm excited for both, but I'm excited to see how Canada does well against Colombia, especially since James Rodriguez does way better for Colombia than he does for his club.
Yeah.
But what I want to see from this window for Canada is, once again, give us a clear picture of the kind of team you want to see for next year's World Cup. Who is stepping up? Who could make a strong case to start for the World Cup's opening games. I want to see how the team continues to adapt without Moise Bombito and all the other injuries they have. Like, can Kyle Larin get going? Can Jacob Schaffelberg get going? Can Ismail Kone prove that he can mature and that he can start for this team alongside Steven Estacio? And I want to continue to see improvement from guys like Nico Seeger and Luc de Frugerolles. I just want to see progress. I want to see a team that, can prove, we're here to not just take part in the World Cup, we're here to go as far as possible.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of storylines.
Let's move on.
Europe. So, once again, you underestimate Chelsea. Chelsea prevails. 2-1 win over Liverpool at Stamford Bridge over the weekend. Like, from the start, Chelsea were ready to go. They were in control from the start. Like, Liverpool had trouble, getting up the pitch. They had trouble testing Robert Sanchez, but Chelsea, kept winning the ball back, attacking Marmardashvili's goal. And 35 minutes in, Moises Caicedo just runs down the midfield and just blasts it past Marmardashvili, which caused a lot of memes about Virgil van Dijk's positioning on that goal, as you probably have seen by now. Just great goal by Moises Caicedo. This guy, 3 goals this season. He had one last year and one the year before. So he's not known for goals, but when he scores goals, it's a banger. Just like Sebastian Berhalter, in a way. And just like Sebastian Berhalter, Moises Caicedo is a creator. He can create from deep, he can create from close range. He takes set pieces for Ecuador. So this guy is a world-class midfielder. I don't care what anyone says. He was worth 115 million. He was everywhere against Liverpool. And he's humble. Like he said, yeah, N'Golo Kante and Claude Makalele, great players, but I am nowhere near their level. And I still want to be a legend at Chelsea, which is a very fair and honest assessment.
You talked about another humble guy there in Nganda or Conte as well, right?
Yeah, Makalele was too. And, Chelsea's been blessed with these defensive midfielders. Makalele, Conte, Caicedo. And I said it all along, Caicedo was the heir to Conte, and he is proving it. But Caicedo has more of a creative streak than Conte. Conte was good at passing too, but nowhere near as good as Caicedo is now. But not much creativity from Chelsea, except from like Caicedo and Neto. But they moved the ball well in this game. Unfortunately, Liverpool went back the other way. Isak deflects the ball, and Gakpo pounces in it past Robert Sanchez. 1-1 game, but Chelsea did not let them phase. Like, it helped that Mo Salah kept blasting it over the bar. He had this one chance where he could have passed to Isak or Gakpo, but he blasted over the bar. Salah, not doing well this year.
No, there's been a lot of talk about that as well as to what exactly.
Like he and Isak are not gelling.
There's a few things going on at Liverpool right now, and I think it's going to take smarter minds than I to really assess it, especially in the last 2 games. You've started to notice cracks.
Yeah, Isak spent more time complaining than actually shooting. He brought down Reece James in the box, and he complained that there should have been a penalty. Like, no, not a chance, man.
Well, not only that, but you've got Isak and Itake that both come over, and Itake has said that if he knew that Isak was coming over, he would have second-guessed whether or not he wanted to. Yeah.
And then Florian Wirtz. 009. Caicedo has more goal contributions than Wirtz. You spent that much money on the guy. He was, a player that I rate in the Bundesliga, but so far, has he arrived? I don't see him. But then the winning goal. Sanchez starts this beautiful passing in the midfield. Estevao passes it at first to Enzo Fernandez. He finds Marc Cucurella, and then Estevao at the far post. No one was marking him. He just taps it in past Marmardashvili, and that is his first Chelsea goal, officially. What a way to do it. 18 years old, and scores against the Premier League champions to win the game for Chelsea. Anthony Taylor, of course, was refereeing this game, and he had to be in the storylines. So first he gives Enzo Maresca for arguing. He also gave Arne Slot a yellow too from that same sequence. I didn't see what happened, and Enzo Maresca was fine with it. And then he gives Maresca a second yellow for running down the pitch and celebrating with his team for the late winner.
To be fair, that's something that referees were told to really, really watch this year with coaches, is to keep them in their technical area. So
yeah, but to be fair, but God forbid a coach can't celebrate a winning goal with his team. Because he ran down the pitch Mourinho style and celebrated with Estevao and the Chelsea players.
Yeah.
Hey, the guy wants to celebrate in the moment. Like, I understand the ruling, but
to me, it's the same thing as a player taking off their shirt. You knew the rule beforehand. Just don't be an idiot. So,
Maresca did nothing wrong. He just ran down the pitch and celebrated with the team. It's not like he took off his shirt and rolled around.
Yeah, but he knew the rule going into it.
Yeah. But 3 points for Chelsea. This is a win that could ignite the season after some struggles. And, I think of Jamie Carragher. It's like, oh, how can you call yourself champions of the world if... Oh, that's a terrible impression, but how can you call yourself champions of the world if you can't beat the champions of England. Look what happened. They did that. They beat Liverpool last season at home, even though it was after Liverpool won the title. But a lot of credit also goes to Josh Angelpong and Benoit Badiashile. Like, where was this Badiashile for the past year and a half? I get he had his injuries, but you look like the Badiashile that did well in the Grand Potter. Fortunately, both guys got injured, but luckily both were minor injuries. So Reece James had to play center back. And unfortunately, Reece James suffered a minor injury in that game. Can't make this stuff up, right? And so he is not on international duty with England, but he is fine and will play after the international break, which is against Nottingham Forest. Great game, intense game. Happy for Chelsea that, they proved people wrong, and hopefully this is the start of something better, and especially with all the injuries coming back, but don't expect Cole Palmer to be back until after the Forest game, fortunately.
Yeah.
Tottenham Hotspur, 2-1 win over Leeds United, and Spurs' first win in a match before an international break in 6 attempts, which is just wild.
Yeah, going into international breaks, they haven't had much luck, and that was one thing that Thomas Frank really talked about actually heading into this, is trying to make this into not a grudge match, but just something that they needed to prove to themselves that they could do. Mattis Tell opens up scoring. Good for him. Believe it or not, that's Tell's first goal as a Tottenham player, which is kind of crazy when you think about last season. I was trying to remember back, and I'm wondering if this is only in the league. I thought he had others.
This is his actual first.
But yeah, so very nice to see, especially for a player who has something to prove, because he was not included as part of the Champions League squad. Okafor ties the match up in the first half. Just smart pounce on the ball. Initial shot was a very good reaction shave from Vicario. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to hold on to the ball. It was a poor rebound. Not a lot he could do, and Okafor just steps up, finishes the play. But Kudus, Mohamed Kudus gets his first goal as a Tottenham player. Great individual effort, just basically to dispossess the ball on the right-hand side, move in, find space, and get his first goal. And a pretty nice little goal celebration, too, just sitting down in one of the photographer's chairs to take it. That is Leeds' first loss at home in over a year. September 2024 was their last loss at home, going back to the championship. Where they actually, I think they lost in the championship to Burnley at home. So yeah, great win, much needed win. Right now, again, with the loss that Liverpool had, this has Tottenham in third place, only 2 points behind Arsenal, who's in first. And again, Tottenham's only one of a handful of teams that has only lost one game all season so far. Again, the thing with Tottenham, though, great against the top teams. They are questionable against the teams below them. I mean,
I guess some things never change.
Yeah, that Wolverhampton Wolves game, right? Things like that. So right now it's looking pretty good. Excuse me. Other news going on right now. I should mention, with the whole kind of changeover that was happening in terms of the ownership restructuring and all that stuff, we had those expressions of interest, let's call them, in Tottenham. There was 3 different. All 3 have now withdrawn.
So much for that.
So Tottenham basically said, the club's not for sale. And to kind of double down on that, the ENIC, Joe Lewis Family Trust and all that have just as of today injected another £100 million into the operation of the club. So they're starting to put money where their mouth is, and it's nice to see.
Okay. Yeah.
A bunch of international call-ups. Most notably will be Jed Spence with England, who's going to be taking on Ben Davies and Brennan Johnson of Wales, match at Wembley. So it'll be interesting to see how that one goes. Other than that, names that you expect: Sarr with Senegal, Bergvall, Sweden, Kudus, Ghana. But yeah, a lot of call-ups, and it's just nice to have that win heading into the break. They will play again in 10 days against Aston Villa.
Yep. And here's another crazy story. FIFA accused Malaysia of faking eligibility, for foreign-born players.
Yeah, so we know that your eligibility for who you want to play for your national team can go back as far as your grandparents, right?
Yep.
So if you had a grandparent that was born in whatever country,
I
you
could represent the Philippines
feasibly.
if I wanted to.
What was that?
I could represent the Philippines if I was a
There you
footballer.
go, right?
I chose to.
I can represent Canada.
Yeah.
But they are being accused of falsifying citizenship documents for up to 7 foreign-born players in their national team. Now, the reason why this is a big story is because a lot of teams in the Southeast Asian region have been really focused on Indonesia and how well Indonesia has started to do, not only in their region, but internationally as well. And a lot of it has to do with foreign-born players. Take a look at Paes, who plays in MLS and has basically been the starting goalkeeper for Indonesia for, I don't know, at least 2 seasons running. There's because Indonesia has been really, really focused on taking a look at Dutch-born players, especially when, you had back to colonialism and everything there. But they've been taking a look at the number of players that they've been able to convince play for Indonesia because of parents, grandparents, and whatnot that have been born in Indonesia. Malaysia's trying to do the same thing, but they're being accused of doing it illegally. This is also an interesting story because of the Canada attachment to this with I'm trying to remember the name now. Rob Friend, who right now is head of the Malaysian FA, I believe. So he's going to have some
look at these names for
7 players that are being accused right now. Right now, it's considered kind of a black stain on Malaysia, but this could have some serious ramifications up to and possibly, I think, expulsion right now from the AFC.
Yeah, this is crazy, and there's fines and stuff. But they're
it could go much, much further than fines, especially. I mean, take a look at what just happened with South Africa in their World Cup qualifiers. They just got a forfeiture in a game for fielding an ineligible player. What? Well, if you're fielding 7 ineligible players, if those guys actually make the pitch, I mean, this can be really, really big, and this can cost you berths in tournaments. This will go much further than fines.
Yes. So back to England. So Sir Jim Ratcliffe, head of IONS, part owner of Man United, has said that he's going to give Amorim time, and he said 3 years, which is very generous to say the least.
3 years, I believe, is the average length that a coach has with the team in the first place. This isn't the average length of a coach that is with a team that is doing this poor. Now, I get Man United is in 10th. They have 3 wins on the season, but they under Amorim, and I think this is
6 wins in the last 8 months, by the way.
Yeah, they have more. He has coached more games than they have points, and that shouldn't be the case.
And I don't remember where I saw this, but Amorim's win percentage is just the bottom, near the bottom of Man United managers in the last 50 years or whatever it was.
You know what? He could be a great manager, and it's really, really tough to judge right now because the 2 teams that we kind of know him for are so vastly different in terms of where they sit within their respective leagues. You got to think, does Amorim want to be here as well? Now, there are rumors that there is some sort of release clause that kicks in either this month or next month in November that allow them to kind of buy him out and say so long, farewell for a reduced price.
Yeah.
You've got to wonder if Man United is just waiting for that. I don't
Probably.
know. But, I mean, you have – I mean, he even Amorim has come out and said that the players don't want to play for him anymore.
Because he won't change his system.
He is so hell-bent on playing one way, and it's not working. I mean, we can go and take a look at Postecoglou right now with Nottingham Forest, another guy who is refusing to change his system. Now, it's much too early to do anything with Postecoglou at Nottingham Forest. He's only been there, 7 games, I think?
Yeah, and he's the first manager to achieve the 007.
Yeah, but you got to think that if you were a manager today and you are so rigid in your tactical philosophy, it's not good. You can't just plug and play. You can't just build a system and try to plug it into a team if that system is not suited to the team. And I think these two managers are prime examples that you can't take a philosophy that might work in EA Sports or Football Manager and apply it to real life. Just doesn't work.
Amarim's system thrived at Sporting, but it's obviously not working.
No.
At Man United. And for Postecoglou, we talked about a couple of weeks ago about Murillo and the other Nottingham Forest defenders transitioning from a heavily low block system to a high line. That I had my worries about that. And look at that. It's just, with Amarim, the stubbornness to not change his system.
But it's not only that, it's that Amarim has been given ample opportunity, a number of transfer windows, and I don't know if there's just a disconnect between him and Radcliffe, or the sporting director who's bringing in players or whatever it is, but it's not working. You need a guy that is going to be adaptable.
Yeah, at least Graham Potter was tried different formations with Chelsea and West Ham, but obviously he didn't work out there. But still, things aren't going to improve if Man United if they don't look at themselves in the mirror and think they have to improve their ways.
Well, I think Man United needs to say there needs to be something that says we are not Ferguson's Man United, and we haven't been for a long time. You can even take a look at that very last year of Ferguson, and yes, I know they did it, but
there were cracks.
That last year did Man United no favors because that was such an aging squad, and they basically held on to give them the last win, and that was it, and it's hurt them ever since.
I guess we said this before that Man United is a team that is so rooted in nostalgia. Like their whole brand is, we're Man United. We've won everything, 20 league titles. But it's, what have you done for me lately? You haven't won the league since 2013.
Yeah.
You've lost more finals than you've won, I assume. And now they're in 10th? Like show this to a Man United fan in the 2000s. They'd have a heart attack.
Yeah.
So at this rate, Man United could be sent to the championship if, they don't, learn and try to improve things and not stick with the status quo.
Yeah, exactly.
But one last thing here. Speaking of clubs that are in shambles, Rangers lost to not lost. They drew to Falkirk, a newly promoted team in Scotland, and they sacked Russell Martin while we were at PC Place, 1-5-1. And how reportedly and are close to bringing back their former hero, Steven Gerrard.
Rangers is such a weird case because I know they wanted Martin to succeed. And the thing is he's only lost one game in the league.
And it's draws, but the football hasn't been
5. I mean, it's basically like watching Toronto FC as of late. Apparently
the football isn't great. So
I don't think it's going to take as big a fix at Rangers. I don't think I think it just needs a shot in the arm. Gerrard could be that guy because he actually had them win the league for the first time in a decade when he was back
and went undefeated.
Yeah. There's a number of names, but I know they were waiting for Gerrard to see if he would even have interest before they would approach him. I think he has got to be the odds-on favorite.
Yeah, it seems like they're very close.
Yeah.
And, just think some stability club because it's been very rocky the past few weeks and months. And I kind of feel for Derek Cornelius, who, again, was still a weird move that he went there on loan. But
well, I think you're moving to Rangers. You expect to be number 1, number 2 in the Scottish Premiership. You
And they're like
expect
what,
it.
mid-table?
Eighth. They're in eighth. Now there's a big, 6, 7, 8 tie for that. But right now, the way the Scottish table sets up is halfway through. They split the season. They're in the bottom half right now.
Yeah.
Like
Let's bring it up here.
It's not good.
Yeah, Hearts.
Like I
Hearts.
said, I don't
6-1-0.
think it's as big a fix as people think. Yeah, Hearts. Who would have expected that, right?
Yeah. Celtic still undefeated. And then there's Rangers. Tied with Hibernian and Motherwell.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that loss to Falkirk was
the draw, yeah.
Or draw.
That was not good, apparently. That was painful, apparently.
A few seasons ago, Falkirk was in Scottish League One, the third division, right? Like you should not. I mean, I don't know. Rangers probably pays their top 3 players more than what Falkirk's entire team costs, right?
Right. So if Gerard is appointed, hopefully he can right the ship. Maybe he can give Rangers that new manager bounce.
Yeah.
So that'll conclude this week's episode. Hope you enjoy it. Tell us what we're doing right. Tell us what we're doing wrong. Follow me on Twitter, Joshua00, Nathan Enderick, podcast at Terminal City FC. We're also on Blue Sky. Check out Terminal City FC on Instagram and YouTube. If you're, a business, or if you know anyone in a business, be nice, looking for a sponsor, give us an email at terminalcityfc@gmail.com. Check out the Area 51 Sports Network for our articles on football, hockey, Seahawks coverage, WHL coverage. Canucks season starts today. NHL season is underway, so more hockey coverage is underway. And, enjoy all the sports. October is the best month for sports. Enjoy the Whitecaps this weekend, so if you're looking for your footy fix during the national break, there you go. MLB playoffs are underway. Go Blue Jays. Glad they beat the Yankees last night. I don't care who they take on. Tigers and Mariners. Oh, I like the Mariners just for the storylines. But, yeah, enjoy all the sports and especially enjoy all the soccer. So, Canada, tomorrow and Tuesday. We'll be covering that too. So that concludes this week's episode. Peace out.
Take care.